Hello world! Cyber attacks on airlines, hospitals, and even the royal family have all been the responsibility of KillNet, a pro-Russian hacker group that spends its time DDoSing people it deems to be enemies of the motherland. It goes something like this. KillNet will boot off a website for a couple hours, announce the operation on their Telegram channel to their legion of followers, and then pat themselves on the back for doing their part in the war effort. In reality, knocking some website offline for a few hours has little real-world impact, well, other than to give the mainstream media opportunity to create sensationalized headlines. But despite that, KillNet was recognized in a report by America's Cyber Defense Agency as a group to keep an eye on. KillNet is often referred to as a collective, but it's not really a collective in the same way you might think about a decentralized collective like Anonymous. Instead, KillNet is centrally run by a mysterious character, KillMilk. Not much is known about KillMilk, other than the fact he portrays himself as quite the Russian patriot. I mean, he calls for the death of those that oppose the motherland, and unironically refers to Putin as his daddy. He initially launched KillNet as a DDoS for hire service, but when the war came along, the group pivoted and became the KillNets that we know today. However, the KillNet project is in trouble, because in the last few days, the apparent identity of KillMilk has been revealed. But he wasn't exposed by who you'd expect, not to Ukrainian hacktivists or even Western intelligence agencies, but rather his identity was leaked by Russian state media, specifically by Gazeta.ru, a news site based in Moscow. It's owned by Rambler Media Group, which is in turn owned by Sberbank, a Russian bank that is majority owned by the Russian government. You can tell that Gazeta is very much pro-Russian because it refers to the war in Ukraine as the SVO, an abbreviation of Special Military Operation. Gazeta has unmasked KillMilk as allegedly one Serafimov Nikolai Nikolaevich, a 30-year-old ex-convict who's allegedly spent time behind bars for dealing drugs. Gazeta claims that it's gotten all this information from more than 10 hackers and hacktivists that have publicly spoken out. Now, I know what you're thinking. More than 10 hackers that are all either anonymous or go by pseudonyms don't really sound like a very credible source of information. But the article claims that this, well, I suppose we can call it a dox, has been verified by Russian law enforcement agencies. And if anyone has access to Russian law enforcement, it's Russian state media. It's a strange situation. Russian authorities tend to leave cyber bad guys within their borders alone, but for some reason this privilege has been taken away from KillMilk. Why? Well, KillMilk has a habit of making enemies. In one case, he allegedly scammed a Rutor admin out of 1 million rubles. Rutor is a Russian-speaking dark web forum. KillMilk justified his scamming by claiming that the site was run by the Ukrainian security service, despite there being absolutely no evidence of that. As for the scammed cash, he promised to donate half of it to Russian orphanages, and whilst a KillNet representative promised to provide evidence of some kind of a charity event, they never did. In another case, KillMilk set up Dark School, which was basically Udemy for carding, DDoSing, and other assorted cybercriminal activities. It wasn't cheap, coming in at $250, but 150 people apparently did sign up. However, the course is reported to have absolutely sucked. It had no practical value, since in most cases the information they contained was outdated and available for free, leading to some of his customers to seek refunds. At $250 each, 150 sales will have generated about $38k, enough to buy the Porsche that KillMilk apparently drives. The guy is very money-oriented. He even teamed up with the jewelers in Moscow to bring out a line of KillNet-inspired jewelry. One of KillMilk's former comrades said, "A lot of people are tired of KillMilk. Behind the scenes, a significant portion of pro-Russian groups oppose him, but they are afraid to have a bite with him in public. First of all, they are afraid of de-anonymisation." This lesson was learned the hard way by the former leader of Anonymous Russia, a group that, like KillNet, takes part in DDoS campaigns targeting those they perceive to be enemies of the motherland. KillMilk fell out with its leader, who was subsequently arrested in Belarus for unknown reasons. Shortly after the arrest, KillMilk doxed the guy, posting a picture of his passport on Telegram, seemingly as punishment for him not being careful enough. There's speculation that KillMilk might have had something to do with that arrest, though that's something he denies. De-anonymisation is seen as a death sentence for a black hat's career for obvious reasons. You can't do illegal things if the feds know where to find you. But is KillMilk's dox even true? Well, Gazeta says that KillMilk himself neither denied nor confirmed information about his identity. However, he asked the Gazeta.ru correspondent to reveal the source behind his apparent dox. After Gazeta obviously refused, the hacker stopped communicating with the publication's correspondent and deleted the correspondence, so he's at least acting like it's all true. And assuming the leak is true, you might have expected KillMilk to have disbanded KillNet, deleted his accounts and just disappeared into cyberspace. But that hasn't happened. If anything, KillMilk seems to have embraced his outing. The only post he's made even acknowledging his docs is when he shared a video of some guy desecrating what appears to be a Ukrainian war grave, saying jokingly that this video is his full de-anon. But there is reason for KillMilk to be concerned, especially when the war inevitably ends at some currently unforeseeable point in the future. If there's some kind of a peace deal between Russia and the US, the hackers and cybercriminals that have been causing so much trouble for Western countries over the past few years could possibly be on the negotiating table. Despite Gazetta's article being very detailed, many questions remain. I mean, what prompted Gazetta to write the article unmasking KillMilk? Sure, KillMilk has made some enemies as we've seen, but whilst this does give us an idea as to his character, let's not pretend that scamming a few script kiddies out of a few $1,000s is the reason behind the unmasking. Clearly there's some pieces of the puzzle that we just don't have. If you want to hear about those pieces of the puzzle, if and when we have them, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and if you have a cloud hosting puzzle piece-shaped hole in your life, then that's something today's sponsor can help you out with. Akamai Connected Cloud is your Swiss Army knife for cloud computing. These guys can handle everything cloud, and they're giving you a $100 60-day credit just to get started. One of their features that I love is their app marketplace, which makes it super easy to spin up servers with pre-configured software. Need an instance of Kali? Just configure the basics with their installer and you're done. So click the link in the description now to claim your free $100 credit. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.